Hey guys, so today is kind of my report out from the month of April as it relates to my beauty budget, what I purchased, and kind of my thoughts and feelings on how this went for the first time last month. If you missed my sort of opening video, I talk about what the budget is, I talk about why I'm doing this, why I'm not doing this, and kind of how the whole process is going to work. But like I mentioned in that video, I thought that having a monthly place where I'm reporting out to you on what I purchased would be a really great way for you to see the products that are entering into my collections, me to share some early thoughts with you, talk about where and how I'm going to review them in the future. So how I see this working today is I want to kind of start with what I bought, and then once I've kind of shown you all I've purchased, I will kind of give you a roll up as far as what the total was, and we're going to look at that by category. So if you recall from that intro, I kind of have things broken out between drugstore versus high-end makeup versus makeup basics versus body care and skincare and hair care. So, and then the last thing we're going to do in this video is kind of prep for the month of May. So we're going to start a new spreadsheet. We're going to roll over any money that is left from the end of this month. We're going to roll in my budget for the month as well as my YouTube and Magic Links earnings. I'll kind of talk to you guys real quickly about what those are. We'll put those money in, and then we'll kind of see what we're working with from a budget perspective for the month of May. So that was a bit of a lengthy intro. So let's go ahead and get into this because I have a sinking suspicion that this is going to be a very long video. If I am looking down a lot for this video, it is because I have my spreadsheet kind of pulled up here on my iPad. The first thing that I did was place an order on Kokie Cosmetics website. So I was curious about some of their newer products that had been released, but the first thing I got was an eyeshadow palette that when it came in the mail, I thought, wow, this really reminds me a lot of what Natasha Denona did because it has this very sort of soft touch feel to it. And then inside, it's actually kind of spongy. So inside is 24 shades, and when this came in the mail, I was actually really excited when I saw the color story in here because I thought to myself, holy cow, there's a lot of shades in here that remind me of the things that were in the Norvina palette. And I didn't end up picking up the Norvina palette, but I've been coveting that sort of blue shade that was in there. That's some pinker tone shades. Now, obviously, this is a much larger palette than Norvina, but I was super curious to play around with this. Now, I do intend to do a full review on this palette in my drugstore roundup series. I'm in the process of getting ready to film that. I'm hoping tomorrow I will film all of those. So those will be coming out probably in the next week and a half, depending on my editing schedule, which I haven't figured out yet. This was $20. And then I also wanted to try two other newer products from them. One is a highlighter. This is their Soft Glow highlighter. Now, I took a bit of a risk and I ordered the shade Rosy, and it looks super dark in the pan, but it is definitely one that goes onto the skin and actually kind of blends in with the color of my skin. This is a really interesting, almost like creamy, bouncy texture, but I wanted to play around with this for sort of my spring drugstore roundup. These were $6. And then the last thing I picked up from Kokie was one of their Crystal Fusion liquid eyeshadows. I got a taupey shade because I love taupey shades. This is the shade Starlight. This was also $6 on their website, and I wanted to give this formula a whirl. I'd seen some swatches out on Instagram that led me to believe that it was a really beautiful formula, and it really is a high shine sort of taupey metallic color that I personally love on my eyes. All three of these Kokie products you'll be getting reviews on here very shortly. The next thing that I picked up was actually a skincare item. So this is from Curology. So Curology is an interesting platform. You actually have to put in a whole bunch of personal information. You take pictures of your face in multiple directions in natural sunlight, and then you actually talk to a registered nurse practitioner. And based on that conversation and that kind of dialogue back and forth, you kind of do this via online chat. They're not live chatting with you. They kind of ask you some questions, you respond back to them, but you can kind of see it in a chat format on their website. They end up building what is a custom formula for you using ingredients that you can only get with prescription. So I have been very interested and have been thinking about getting a prescription retinol, which is tretinoin, into my skincare routine. I am getting into my late 30s and I want to make sure that I'm using powerhouse anti-aging ingredients, and retinol in its tretinoin form is the most researched form of anti-aging out there. So I've been thinking about wanting to boost my levels of vitamin A, the level of retinol that I have. Now, there's a lot of different over-the-counter retinols, but what I was reading is that the prescription strength one is 60 times more effective than the over-the-counter forms of retinol that you can get. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I don't personally have a dermatologist right now. I probably should find one, to be totally honest, but I don't have one. The price point seemed very reasonable. When you first kind of go through this whole process, you're basically only paying for the shipping for the product, and you're getting a fairly decent sized sample container of your product in the mail. And so you pay $4.95 for shipping. So I paid $4.95 to Curology this month. And then after working with the nurse practitioner, I got a blend of, it's 0.01% tretinoin, which is a sort of middle of the road amount. About the maximum amount of tretinoin you want to put on your face is 0.02%. So I felt like that was an effective dose. Then it also has 4% niacinamide, which is a B vitamin, which is also a highly researched and very effective skincare ingredient. And then it had 2% azelaic acid, which is not one that I am personally familiar with, and I actually do want to do a little bit more research on that. I thought, you know what, let's give this a whirl. If I like it, what essentially happens is that I go on a subscription plan and I'm getting a larger bottle of this every 2 months. And I liked the packaging when it came. I liked the fact that it came with a pump in here, that there's no light or air getting into any of these powerhouse ingredients, which can really destroy their ability to make a big impact to your skin. I don't know as if, because I haven't even used this for a solid month yet, I can't comment back to you in terms of its effectiveness, in terms of whether or not I've noticed anything like magically different. I personally believe most of the super powerful skincare ingredients that you're going to see a huge difference with, they take several months to kick in. Here's what I can tell you about this product. I do think it is a little drying. This has not displaced the moisturizers in my evening routine. This has been an additional step. I was kind of wondering if this would become my nighttime moisturizer. And what I would say is it's not, because it's getting those skincare ingredients I want on my skin, but it's leaving my skin drier. I'm okay with that. I want the effectiveness of these ingredients in my skin, and if that means I have to amp up my moisturizers or my oils at night, I will happily do that. So I will report back to you guys in several months, I think, on this, but my intention at this point is to go forward and get a full-size bottle next month. So on 4/9, I made an order on ColourPop's website, largely because I wanted to try some of their Jelly Much eyeshadows. Now, you will notice in here, sometimes I have discounts and taxes added into individual items, just because it's difficult to calculate out, or is some retailers apply, you give a $5 discount code and they apply like $1 from each of them to each item, and some just leave it at the bottom. So it's kind of hard to balance it out. So in the case of ColourPop, I just put the $5 discount code I got from using Samantha March's discount. I will put that down below. What I did for ColourPop was I just put that $5 discount code and the tax for the entire order just onto the first item. So I got the Scorpio Moon Luxe lipstick. This is supposed to be a cream formula. It is what I'm wearing on my lips today. I don't like it. I like the color. This is not cream. It is the mattest matte lipstick of life. There's nothing cream about this in the least. I mean, the dry down intensity of this lipstick is pretty intense. This is not cream at all. It is matte. And then there's this weird grittiness to this cream lipstick that as I put it on my lips, it feels like there's little particles in there, like almost lip scrubbish inside of this. And I've tried a couple of times to like rub really hard on my hands, or even try and like rub some of it off, thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just like this strange layer, or maybe it just got a little bit of powder or something on the outside of it. My experience is it seems to be going all the way through this lipstick. And so it applies slightly creamy, doesn't stay creamy or moisturizing. I mean, this is a very strong matte, so I'm a little confused why they would call this a cream lipstick. My personal experience with these Luxe lipsticks, guys, is that the formulation is all over the freaking board as it relates to their matte versus cream lipsticks. Some of their cream lipsticks are totally creamy. Some of them are super matte. Some of them have this grittiness factor. Some of them don't. Like, I just feel like there's an inconsistency to the Luxe lipsticks that I never experienced with the lippy sticks. yeah, a little disappointed with this. As it relates to the Jelly Much eyeshadows, I bought 4 of them. I got the shade Half Moon. I had seen Kate the Great use this in a video. I've been binge watching her channel, and I had seen her use the shade Half Moon, which was part of their original launch. These Jelly Much eyeshadows have it's a jelly consistency, but it's a thicker jelly consistency. Sometimes when you get a jelly thing, it's very like thin and almost runny and jiggly in here. This is a thicker gel formula, and I find it's actually a little bit easier to work with than some other ones that I've tried. Really, I'm a fan of this Jelly Much formula based off my experience with this one. I did pick up 3 other shades, which I have not had a chance to play with yet. So then they're in this new packaging now, which looks a lot more like the Super Shock Shadow one. So I have the shade Hallucinogenius, which is kind of this purpley duochrome here. I also got the shade Big Ego, which is a really fun purple shifting shade. And then I got the shade Sweet Dreams, which I thought looked different on the website. It ended up being a really sort of bubblegum pink shade. These 3 I have not played with, so these are going in my drawer to continue playing with. Next up, on 4/11, I actually went and redeemed some Sephora points for a gift card. So when you are Rouge at Sephora, you can redeem 2,500 points for what is essentially a $100 gift card. And I had stopped getting all of those little sampley things as soon as they announced that last year. So I redeemed that, and I had a couple of notes that I wanted to share with you just based on my experience here. I had redeemed those points knowing that the Sephora sale was coming up towards the end of the month. And I thought to myself, you know what? That's awesome. I know I've got a 20% off purchase coming up on Sephora. This will help offset some of my Sephora costs for the sale. So I was thinking in my head, I was going to use that gift card when I went and made my sale purchases at the end of the month. What I learned when I redeemed my 2,500 points for that is that it's not technically a gift card. You are getting a code, and you can't use multiple codes, either at the register or online. So essentially what's happening is they're giving you a code for $100 off your order that cannot be applied to any of the sales that they ever have there. The other thing is because it's technically not a gift card, because it is a code, there's no way for you to return the items that you purchase or even exchange the items that you purchase with that $100. So you better be 100% certain that these are the items you want, because once you use that $100 to buy them, you are SOL. They are completely yours. You can't do anything with them. Ended up using this gift card in Sephora towards the beginning of the month. Once I realized those things, I actually physically went into the store to purchase some items because I wanted to make sure that they were exactly what I wanted and the colors were exactly what I wanted, because I started to realize that this was my one shot to get these items. The girl at the checkout was actually very knowledgeable about this. She thinks it's kind of ridiculous. She really wishes that as a company that they would actually just do a traditional gift card that could be redeemed in multiple times, because that's the other thing. You have to redeem this all at once. So I am happy that Sephora is giving this as an option, because I feel like their major competitor Ulta has had this as part of their rewards program for years. But I have to be honest, I'm a little disappointed having gone through this whole process about the fact that I have to use it all at once. I can't break it into 250. I can't use it some online and some in store. I can't do anything with the items once I purchase them. If I want to exchange a foundation for a different shade, I can't do that. And then on top of that, I can't use this to pay for items during the sale. And in my mind, these points and the way they presented it as a gift card is a little misleading. Now, don't get me wrong, $100 to spend in Sephora stores, that's super fun, and I enjoyed doing it. But I just feel like, once again, when you get into the details of Ulta versus Sephora, Ulta's program and the way they run it and the way you earn and redeem points for cash back on things is just, it's far superior. So let's talk about what I actually picked up at Sephora and how I'm showing prices, and then I'm going to be showing you what I actually paid for it, and I'll tell you what the full price is as well. But the first thing I picked up was the Tarte Foundcealer foundation. I picked up the shade, 16B Fair Light Beige. I do have a full review and 10-hour wear test of this foundation on my channel, so if you're curious about that, I will link it down below. This is a $39 foundation, and basically how it worked when I applied that $100 quote-unquote gift card is that it took that $100 evenly off against all of the products I purchased, and then left me a small balance because it was slightly over $100 is what I spent that day. So essentially what I ended up paying for that foundation is $5.95. The next thing I purchased is from Touch in Sol. This is their Metalist Sparkling Foiled Eyeshadow. I picked up the shade Persian Rose. I was actually able to see these in store. They had all of the shades there. It comes in this little container that has a plastic lid on the top that kind of keeps the shadow in here. The texture of this reminds me so much of what Marc Jacobs did with its like sequin glitter eyeshadow over the holidays. It's a pressed pigment that's got a little bit of emolliency to it, so it actually sticks onto your eye incredibly well. These I think are actually a very reasonably priced product for Sephora. These are $18. I paid $2.75 after the gift card was applied, but I loved this formula. I wore it twice this month and just fell hard for these. The next thing I purchased was a couple of products from Laura Mercier. So the first one was a caviar eye stick that was exclusive to Sephora. This is the shade Rush, which is they describe it as a violet red duochrome. This retails for $29. I picked this up for $5.57. Beautiful all over the lid. It's got that microfine shimmer running through it. As with my experience with other caviar eye sticks from Laura Mercier, they lock into place. They're creamy, they blend under the eye really well, but they lock into place and don't budge. I've actually really enjoyed pairing this with a different product we'll talk about here in just a second, but yeah, this one was a lot of fun. And then the last item I picked up there was a lipstick from Laura Mercier. This is their newest sort of formulation. It's their Rouge Essentials Silky Cream lipsticks. I got the shade Nude Nouveau, which is described as a nude pink brown. I think the description is highly misleading. I picked this up because I thought it looked like a really fun pinky coral for spring. There is nothing pinky brown about this shade whatsoever, so I don't know if Sephora just sort of mixed things up on their website in terms of color descriptions. It is a really comfortable formula. It's a cream lipstick. It stays nicely emollient on your lips. It doesn't last forever as a result, but I found it to be a very comfortable, easy to use, fun shade. I was looking for something that was kind of spring-like, and I wanted sort of a pinky coral shade, and that's what this gives me. And so I've really enjoyed playing around with this. I think it's one of those sort of face brightening shades for me personally. The packaging is really beautiful. It is metal and it's got this really strong magnet in there to kind of close it up. It's an expensive product. So this lipstick is $32. I paid $4.88, but I started thinking about this in terms of this versus Charlotte Tilbury and that matte lipstick formula that I like so much from her. And I still feel like both for packaging as well as formula, I like that one a little bit better. But this is a cream formula that I think is really beautiful, and it's comfortable on your lips. Like, I have nothing wrong with this lipstick other than to say, I don't think I will be actively seeking out more of them at the $32 price point. I'm happy to have this in my collection. I've enjoyed it in my collection, but I don't necessarily think it's a run out and go buy it right away kind of product. So the other thing I picked up on for $11 was some products at Walgreens that I had kind of heard about. I started to get some rumblings on some Instagram channels I follow, as well as I think I'd seen a video with somebody going to track these down, because Black Radiance, which is a brand that is at, I think it's exclusive to Walgreens, or maybe these are just Walgreens exclusive product. And I was very curious about these. So these are their Black Radiance Sparkling Shadows. I picked up 2 shades. These were $5.99 to start. I ended up picking them up, one up for $4.99 and another one up for $2.34, because I ended up counting the tax for everything I purchased, as well as the cost of this minus the $5 coupon towards one of these. Hopefully that makes sense. It just sounded incredibly complicated as I said it out loud. All that to say, it resulted in me picking up 2 of these. I will be reviewing these as part of my drugstore roundup. You will have to tune in for those, but I did pick these 2 up. And then the other new product that they launched that is, I think, exclusive to Walgreens, as I remember it right now, is one of these sort of creamy potted eyeshadows. Yeah, these are called their Eye Appeal Shadow Bases. I picked up the shade Naked Eye. It seemed to be this really pretty taupey color. These retailed for $5.99 as well, but this one also had a $1 off coupon. But I thought the color was really pretty on this. It's that sort of perfect one color eyeshadow that I love. So look for reviews from me on these here coming shortly. On 4/16, I got an email from Shop Miss A website, and they were doing $1 shipping that day. And I thought to myself, okay, that is kind of the opportunity I have been waiting for. I love their brow gel. It's $1 and it's probably my favorite brow gel that I've ever tried. But I also didn't want to pay $6 in shipping for one brow gel. At that point, it ends up being a heck of a lot more affordable for me to just go buy $2.99 Essence one because I can find those locally around me. But I got that email on 4/16 for the $1 shipping. So what I ended up doing was ordering 3 of them for the medium brown shade. So I'm counting this as $4. So I just put the $1 shipping on top of these, and that's a really reasonable, like an insanely reasonable price point for what is my favorite fiber brow gel. And then I went ahead and picked up 2 other products that day, 2 blush products. I picked up one of their cream sheer blushes. This is the shade Cupid. It is what I am wearing on my cheeks today. I used a sort of synthetic duo fiber brush today and kind of tapped it in here and blended it out on my cheeks. Today's the first day I've worn this. I do really like this blush. I think it blended out really well. It didn't seem patchy. It is a cream to powder texture. The other blush that I picked up, I have not tried yet. This is their Perfect Powder Blush. I picked up the shade Darling, which was sort of a dusty light pink shade. I have not played with this one yet. It is a matte shade, but I will play with this and let you know what I think. So those are the 5 products I picked up from Shop Miss A. And then also on 4/16, I got a free shipping email from e.l.f. I had a couple of products I was interested in trying from them, but their shipping is, I think, like $6. And I have a hard time paying $6 in shipping to buy one item that's like $4.99 off their website. It just feels, I don't know, I can't get myself to do it. So when they sent out an email saying free shipping, I was like, perfect. So the one thing I picked up was their Hydrating Primer Serum. This is shown as fragrance free, and I was very excited about that because I've had some primers and some products from e.l.f. in the past that are highly fragranced or strangely fragranced. This is a $10 primer. I went ahead and added the tax to the order on this item, so I'm counting this as $11.13. I have used this twice and I need to play with it some more. I've been testing out some new foundations, one that we've already talked about, and what I don't like to do is test a new primer with a foundation because then I feel like I don't really know what is what, and oftentimes what I will do is just not wear a primer at all when I'm testing foundations. So now that I've gotten through some foundation testing, I want to use this a little bit more. It is a clear serum. It comes with this little dropper. It is a very lightweight texture, like it feels very runny and almost watery, but it does feel like it hydrates my skin underneath. Then the other thing that I picked up on e.l.f.'s website, because I can't find it in any other stores and I've been very, very interested in it, is their new Flawless Concealer. Everyone's been playing around and talking about their full coverage matte concealer. What is it? The camo coverage, I think is what they're calling it. I have that one. I've tested it. I'm getting ready to review it for you, but I wanted to try this one because I didn't feel like anyone was talking about it. And they launched this one around the same time. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. I like it a lot, and I'll give you a full review when we get into the Drugstore Roundup series. So this concealer is $5 as well. And then the other thing that I got off of the e.l.f. website for free was actually a little cream potted blush. I have had these in the past. This is part of their Beautifully Bare line. This is the shade Soft Peach. It is a really beautiful cream blush format. It's cream to powder. It blends onto the skin incredibly well. I really, really enjoyed this. I ended up decluttering it in my blush declutter last year or the year before that. I can't remember, but that was because it was just getting a little bit old and dried out. And I said in that video, I probably will pick up one of these again in the future. Well, I went in and checked my e.l.f. sort of rewards points system, and you can frequently redeem your points from You earn points when you purchase on their website, and then you can redeem them. It's most frequently for a free product versus a discount code of any kind. But I realized as I was placing this order that I hadn't checked out how many points I had and if there's anything I was interested in redeeming them for. And it turned out that I could redeem 150 points to get this for free. So that is what I did. So I'm excited to have this back in my collection. I did wear this a couple times already this month, and it is a really beautiful formula. They only have, I think, 2 of these, but the shades are gorgeous, and I love this peachy shade. I think it's just super fun for spring. And then on 4/20, we were at Costco, and I picked up more of the Kirkland Signature facial wipes. This is not what I use for my own makeup removal. I don't like wipes for my face, to be totally honest. I feel like they always leave a residue. They never get off my makeup super effectively. I would much rather use a oil balm and then a second cleanse. But I go through a ton of wipes as part of this YouTube channel. So I'm counting this as makeup basics because this is a product that I use for filming constantly. Every time I do swatches or close-up product shots, when I've got product swatched on my arms, I go through wipes like crazy. So I need something that's not going to be super drying on my skin, that's not overly fragranced, because by the time I do a whole bunch of swatching on my arms to film those close-ups, my hands and my arms can be super dried out. I have to watch out for that. I do like these Kirkland Signatures wipes. I've used them on occasion on my face, but like I said, it's just not my preference. These do have a micellar water in them as well, which is one of the reasons I think them to be a little bit more hydrating, at least for my purposes. And they're a really reasonable price point. They were on sale for $4 off, so it was typically $12.99, and you get 180 wipes. They come in these little 30 packs here, and then you also get 2 travel packs that have like 15 in them a piece. So it's a really good value for money, and when they put them on sale for $4 off like they did, I ended up paying $9.66 after tax and with that coupon for wipes that will probably last me, at least for my channel and filming style, probably the next 4 to 5 months. So then on 4/20, I made a pit stop into Walmart specifically for a concealer. So I was looking for the next darker shade of the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. I was looking for the shade Ivory Rose. These are exclusive either to Walmart or on Milani's website at this point. That's the only place you can find these, is my understanding. I had gotten the lightest shade, which was Pure Ivory, and it ended up being too light and too yellow for my skin tone. So I was looking for a darker shade because I didn't feel like I could review this properly because I so disliked the yellowy undertone and how white and kind of chalky it was underneath my eyes. So the shade Ivory Rose is, as you can see, is significantly darker, and it's got more of a pinky undertone, which is definitely my preference under my eyes. So this after tax was $8.57. The other thing I picked up while I was in store was from e.l.f. So this is their e.l.f. Plus Matte Blotting Powder. I had watched Tara Babies talk about how this is her new favorite powder to have throughout the day when if she starts getting a little oily or she starts getting makeup that just needs a little bit of a touch up. I have used this twice at this point, so I don't feel like I can report out to you guys on, this is going to be my new favorite powder of life. So after taxes, this ended up being $6.45. And then the last thing I picked up while I was there was kind of an impulse purchase because I didn't even know this had come out. In fact, I can't even find this on any other website, so heads up, this is a new launch. This is from Flower Beauty. This is their Warrior Princess Mascara. So I picked up this mascara. They had like 2 of them hanging on a peg. It's definitely that more traditional bristle brush shape. I have used this twice at this point, so I need to play around with it a little bit more, and then I will give you a more solid review. Yeah, that after taxes was $10.73. My tax around here is 7.5% for anyone that's curious. And then after I went to Walmart that day, I made the decision to pop over to Ulta and pick up the Bare Minerals Stick Foundation. They were doing, I think, 5 times points on Bare Minerals products that day. And I thought to myself, you know what, I can wait for the Sephora sale and get 20% off of this. Or with 5 times points, that's almost the same amount of points that I'll be earning at Ulta towards a future discount code. I do intend to do a full sort of foundation review road test. I will probably be filming that video tomorrow. I've tested this probably 4 or 5 times. So that review is coming. I know this is a foundation you guys were very, very interested in. After taxes, this ended up being $34.40. So now we get into some of the products I picked up at the Sephora Rouge huge sale. I kept waiting for Ulta to give me a 20% off coupon. They've done that historically in the past. When Sephora does their sale, they'll typically send out 20% off coupons. I did see some rumblings in some Facebook groups that lead me to believe that potentially some people got 20% off coupons and maybe I just didn't get one from Ulta. I kept getting 4 times points as kind of my offer. So at the end of the day, I did end up deciding to purchase a few things that from Sephora during the sale that were available at Ulta. One is a new gel under eye cream. I had used up, and I will film an empties here shortly, but I had used up the last of my Fresh under eye gel moisturizer, which is what I use during the day. Fresh is not a cruelty-free brand, so I knew I was on the prowl for a new gel eye cream, and I had done a lot of research and I had done a lot of scoping out in both Ulta and Sephora, trying to find something comparable at a similar price point. And what I ended up getting is from First Aid Beauty. It is their Triple Remedy AM Gel Cream. I really do like the fact that this has a pump on it, so it's actually a lot easier to use than the potted gel cream that I was using from Fresh. So I actually like the packaging on this a bit more. I've been using this for the last probably week at this point, and I really like it. I think it's going to be a really solid replacement for my day under eye cream. I prefer a lightweight gel moisturizer underneath my eyes versus something thick or heavy. It seems to be playing really well with makeup, so I'm pretty excited about this. This retails for $36. It has a half a fluid ounce in here, so it will be interesting to see how this compares and how long it lasts inside of my collection. I did get this for $30.96 after tax and that 20% discount. Typically this retails for $36 normally. The other thing that I picked up in store that day was from Kaja. I knew I wanted to try one of their beauty bento eyeshadows. I had seen both Tim Talia and Tara Babies talk about how much they loved these bento eyeshadows. It is super cute packaging. You've got 3 different shades. You've got a sort of sparkling champagne color. You've got this more pink, rosy pink color, and then you've got a deeper sort of berry cranberry shade at the bottom here. I am wearing these on my eyes today. I have the pinky shade pretty much all over my lid, and then I put some of the lighter champagne color sort of towards the middle of my eye to brighten that up a little bit. I did use a couple of matte shades from my Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette as well, just kind of in the outer corner to build some depth. I put this over a tacky base, so I put this over just my typical eyeshadow primer. It was the Urban Decay Eden eyeshadow primer, and as soon as I put down that eyeshadow base while it was still tacky, I immediately took my finger and kind of spread this all over top so that it would have something to kind of stick to and adhere to. And then I did notice though that when I added this sort of matte shade in the outer corner, I was kind of moving some of the glitter around. And so I definitely have some migratory glitter pieces on my face right now. So I do need to play around with these. I don't feel like it's like going everywhere and I have crazy glitter fallout all over my face, but I kind of feel like I'm going to need to maybe even use a glitter glue underneath this and or lay down my matte shadows first and then come in and put these over top, because I feel like when I started to mess around with a brush over the top of these, I was moving glitter pieces around. These are usually $21 a piece, which I actually think is reasonable for a little eyeshadow stack like this. After the discount and then adding in tax, I paid $18.06 for these. And then the last thing I picked up in store that day was another one of these Touch and Soul Metalist Sparkling Foiled Eye Pigments. After I'd had such an amazing reaction earlier in the month to the shade I had picked up, I went in and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to get another one of these. I don't need to collect them all, but let's find another really interesting sort of duochrome shade that I will really love that could be unique in my collection. So I picked up the shade Hollow Mulberry, which is this really amazing sort of purple blue duochrome shift. And I did an eye look last night and I'm kicking myself I didn't take a picture of it, but I used the Laura Mercier caviar stick that had that little bit of like cranberry duochrome shift to it. I laid that down all over my eyes and blended it up, and then I went in and tapped some of this over the top of it, and oh my gosh, I was in so much love with my eyeshadow look. I may have to film that look for you guys because it was so much fun. If you would like me to do a get ready with me using any of these products, by the way, let me know down in the comments below. I'm trying to figure out if doing a get ready with me after kind of talking about these products is something you guys would enjoy. And then the last thing that I ordered was actually a product online because it wasn't in my local stores, and that was the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. So this is the box that it comes in. I ended up getting shade 1, and after tax and the discount, this foundation ended up costing $37.84. You get 1 fluid ounce. This is what the bottle looks like. I am feeling like it's a little light and a little yellow for me. So as I'm filming this, the sale is still going on, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to order shade 2. So it's what I have on my skin today, and because I used a beauty blender and I kind of sheared it out a little bit, I feel like enough of my skin tone is peeking through that I was able to make the shade work. But as I put it on my skin today, I thought, oh man, this is at least a shade, if not a shade and a half, too light for me. And it's got this yellow undertone. I'm thinking I want to do a dedicated review on this. Let me know if that's something that is interesting to you, but I do think probably before the sale ends, I'm going to go ahead and place an order for shade 2 because I feel like that one may be a better bet for me. And then on 4/28, I ran into Ulta for a couple of specific things. One, their Ulta Beauty brand was doing buy 2, get 2 free. And so I went in specifically to pick up some bath bombs. My favorite bath bomb, and that I find to be very affordable when you hit the sales right, is from Ulta's brand, and it is their coconut and almond milk bath bomb. I really do enjoy taking baths, usually about once a week, and it's just nice and relaxing, and I love the scent. And how they calculate their buy 2 get 2 free is very odd, so I just captured information off of the receipt. So for those 2 bath bombs, I paid $10.87. And then I picked up 2 lipsticks that are newer to their line. One is their Radiant Shine lipstick. So this is kind of in a longer type skinny tube. I picked up the shade Innocent, which is a really pretty sort of soft nude pink. It's kind of beigey. It's not super pink or not super peach, but I've been looking for those moisturizing sort of comfortable lip products comparable to the L'Oreal lip shines that aren't cruelty free. So I wanted to play around with this one. I have tried these lipsticks on, but I have not worn them, but I haven't done any sort of wear test. So I do need to spend a little bit more time with both of these lip products. So I picked that up. That ended up costing $6.40. And then they also had a brand new formula, and it was called their sheer lipsticks. These ended up being $5.96. I picked up the shade Trailblazer. It's another nude. This one is definitely a lot sheer and a lot more balm-like, so I don't think this is going to be a dupe for the L'Oreal Reshines. It's more of a tinted lip balm kind of product. I do think that their Luxe lipsticks are actually in really nice packaging. These are a really heavy duty plastic. It's not metal, but they feel really nice in the hand. And then I really like that they have the color on the bottom, so it's very easy to see what the shade is as you have them in a drawer in your bag. So like I said, need to play around with these and test them out. I will come back and let you guys know what I think about them. The last thing I picked up at Ulta is actually a travel size Kenra dry texture spray. I love this product. It is my hands down favorite texturizing spray. I love the scent of it. I love the hold. I love how it works in my hair. It's just a fantastic, fantastic product. I had been trying to use up some of the little sample sized versions or the travel sized products that I picked up at like the Target bins. Those Target bins don't have a lot of cruelty-free options. So at this point, I kind of realized that I'm going to have to pay a little bit more to go find a cruelty-free option at Ulta. And I didn't realize that Kenra made a travel version in this because I freaking love this spray. I had some left in a Pantene container, but the sprayer was like spitting. Like it wouldn't spray a fine mist anymore. It was like shooting out globules, and I hated it the last time I traveled. I actually just threw it away in the hotel room. So grabbed this, super happy to have it. Actually just traveled with it this week, and it was a godsend. It is is a little pricey for the money. It's $8.65 for 1.5 fluid ounces. So, but I feel like it's a product that I just have to have. I need something that will fit in a carry-on bag that is going to meet TSA requirements, that works in my hair. So it is what it is. And then the last thing that I purchased was a bit of an impulse purchase, I will admit it. I went into the Sephora sale with my stepdaughter, and I actually picked up some makeup for her that she was interested in. I didn't count that inside of here because I'm not counting products and things that I'm buying for her against my beauty budget. So we picked her up a couple of things, and one thing that she and I were playing around that I hadn't seen and we were both kind of using in store was from the Glow recipe, and it's this doggone Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. It was out of stock in the store, but it was still available online, and she fell hardcore for the scent. She's got very dry skin. Even as a teenager, she's got very dry skin, so I'm constantly trying to encourage her to use products that are moisturizing, and this is a very nicely moisturizing product. It actually has some really nice oils, facial oils in it as well. When you get it, it has this sort of layer at the top that has some of those oils. In fact, I think there's actually hold on, I've got the bag. Yeah, it comes in this little bag when you buy it. But it actually has watermelon seed oil, rice germ oil, moringa seed oil. It's got some soybean oil, pumpkin seed oil, and then its main base is a watermelon fruit extract. So your main component of this is actually a watermelon juice. I mean, that's essentially what this is. So when you get it, it comes like this, and you just kind of shake it up to easily disperse all of the oils and everything inside of here. The packaging is super cute. Glow Recipe gets all the points for me for awesome packaging, and then the sprayer on here is like, it's just like a cloud. It's so nice. So the scent on this is lovely. The mist on there is lovely. I think it does a really nice job hydrating. In fact, I feel like my skin looks glowier now that I've sprayed that on there. I got one of these for Kaylee, and I ended up sending it to her house because it was only available online. And I did that the day we had shopped, so on the 27th. And then after I had done that, I was sitting here at home and I was like, oh man, like I have some really awesome facial sprays, but I couldn't get this one out of my head. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this is going to be like the perfect summer fragranced setting spray. I love the mist. I love Glow Recipe in general. I really like what they've done as a brand, both to curate products from Korea and build their own products. I think the two women who run it are just rock stars in terms of business and product development, and so I like supporting them. Yeah, I gave in and got one for myself too. I ended up paying $24.08 for it. Typically this product retails for $28. So yeah, I'm super happy to have this in my collection. I really enjoy it.